Hello students. So here is the syllabus of module 5. Okay, so you can see here the most of the topics we have covered and we are into the last section of the module 5, which is about pharmaceutical engineering. So why I am projecting you this module is that, see, some of the topics here will be overlapping with your clinical pharma also, similarly with the solid dose and even the liquid cream manufacturing practices, etc. So you can club both. Here you have to with respect to this subject, you have to be keen in writing about the regulatory requirements and the validatory requirements and following the quality principles in all this. Okay, so now today, like we are at the last portion of the module 5, which is on the pharmaceutical engineering. So, again, some of the topics may be there in your clinical and pharma BT, right? So what we are focusing here in this subject is about the quality requirement of this pharmaceutical engineering again, right? So what are the facilities you have, right? So when you start a pharma organization, you need a particular facility for that. So what are the facility you require and what are the equipments you use mostly, right? That is the analytical equipments, process design, and also the fundamentals of the process analytical technology. So these things is overlapping with many other topics, like what are the facilities you require, what are the equipments you do, that is your infrared spectroscopy, maybe the mass spectroscopy and all that, which maybe they're in your clinical and pharma. If not, you can contact me. I'll just pass it on to you. And what are the process design? How do you design the process? This we have seen in our module 2, right? The process design of a pharma and more of the equipments also we have also discussed. So today we'll see about something of what is process analytical technology, which is a combination of these as well as the quality and continuous improvement, how they continuously improve. Okay, so we'll discuss on that. Okay, so the process analytical technology is called as PAT, right? Which is very much with respect to the pharmaceutical engineering. When you tell you have a pharmaceutical organization with all the equipments and processes, you need this also in place. Okay, process analytical technique. So we'll see this what it is, right? So PAT, so it is abbreviated as PAT, process analytical technology. So what does it is tell us? It will design, analyze and control. Okay, so what is the purpose of PAT is that it takes care of designing, analyzing, controlling. What does it do? What does it do is design, analyze and control. What, where do you apply is it is during the processing. So what is processing unit in a pharma sector? The processing unit is a place where the exact processes happen, right? So that is starting from the, maybe if raw material is supplied, starting from the granulation, okay, weighing, measurement, mixing it. Okay, so all this will happen during your process. So everywhere during the process, in each step of the process, you have this in line, that is design, analyze and control. Okay, so which process do you choose is the critical quality or the critical process. Okay, so this is defined as a system for design, analyze and control. What you are going to control is the processing steps in the pharma process, and you identify which is a critical process, and then you will be uh, doing this, that is a PAT analysis will be done, and then your final goal is to give a quality product, right? So you are keeping in line with the processing unit so that your final goal is that your product should be of a good quality or the product quality, or our main intention is that they should not fail in any of the regulations. So that is why you have this PAT. Okay, to better understand, you can see this diagram. This is a comparison between the conventional process and the after application of process analytical technology, that is PAT. Okay, so here you see there's a starting material which is raw material and process is going on. There may be intermediate step, process 2, process 3 and finally the finishing product. So these are the main process which is being given in this simple, and in between there are minor processes or minor steps that has to be carried out, right? So these are the main process. So after allotting this path, you can see here in each process there are some lines that are there, right? Starting material also there is a line, right? You can see these parallel lines. So what are these parallel lines is that with all these main steps, that is with the main processes, there are some online and inline and outline facilities. So what are these online, inline, outline facilities? That during the process itself, it is going to take your data, analyze your data using a statistical method, and then tell you whether your process is going right or wrong, right? So here in this case, only the finished product will be analyzed using the statistical tools, and you will check whether the quality is there. But here, when you're allotting this PAT technology, every critical process will have this inline, online, outline, which will analyze what is going on using some statistical tool or using some statistical method and tell you whether the first process is right or wrong. So if it is wrong or if it is at some risk, you stop the process here, you redo the process and then go to the next step. Again, similarly with the process 2, you analyze each step, okay, monitor them, and then tell whether it is right or wrong. Only then you go to this step, otherwise you rectify it here itself. So the finished product will be 100% sure that okay, it is meeting the quality requirements, because all the analysis and risk assessment is being done with respect to the regulatory requirement, and now you can be sure that your finished product is meeting all the guidelines. But here in this case, if you see, the finished product may or may not meet the guidelines. In case if it is not meeting the guidelines, you have to go back to the checking with the starting materials and again with the process. So one round or one batch process, whatever you have done here, will be a utter wastage. Okay, so and so much of economy will be lost in this case. But here with respect to the PAT analysis, whatever you are doing, okay, with respect to each process, you are able to analyze the flaws present there and you are able to modify here or rectify here and then proceed to the next step. So the finished product will 99.9% will meet the quality requirements, right? So the what is the principle of this PAT, that is process analytical technology, is that, right, it should not be tested in the final product, it should be built in during the design stage itself. So the main principle is that you're not checking the quality at the final stage, but during each processing step you want to check the quality. Okay, so what is the goal of this PAT is that you find a defect in the process manufacturing. Okay, you reduce the process variation with respect to the protocol, whatever you are following, enhance the process safety, right? Because all the risk analysis etc will be done. So how safe is your process is being enhanced, and whatever the product produced is of highly quality with respect to time, and building quality into products and enhance understanding and control of the manufacturing process. So these are all the goals. In short, to brief upon these goals, it is to maintain the quality. So in order to maintain the quality at each process, you are checking what is the variation, what is the manufacturing defect, etc., and you are analyzing, and then you are bringing to a control stage where you control the process within the limits and then proceed for the product. But ultimate thing is you need a quality product. And how does it work? You select the process and you analyze whether the selection is according to the PAT system. So how do you analyze whether a process is according to that? You will have a V model or life cycle model to analyze whether it is suitable for a particular system. Then identification of the critical process parameter. So you will check which is the critical process parameter, and then you will design the process. So design the processes, you are now supplementing the process step with the design process, that is the PAT system is being installed to the critical process, which will take the inline and online test. Okay, so what you are doing, you are selecting a process, You are checking whether it a suitable patch system can be done. That is the analyzing tool. Whether you want the automated analyzing there or you want a manual one, and how you're going to collect your data is a selection of the suitable patch system, and then you identify which is a critical step during your processing, and you supplement your critical process step with the patch system, and then you go ahead with the designing of the process. So designing of the process is nothing but giving a online test and inline test along with the critical process. So we'll see what is this in detail. Maybe the terms are new to you. So how do we implement is that during the initial phase itself, you look at the process optimization, right? So what is process optimization is that, right? You compare your results with what is the expected results. Okay, suppose you are getting the yield as maybe 40 microgram per ml. Okay, and you will compare that with the standard. And there is a statistical tool to do the optimization study on that. So there will be optimization study that is carried out in comparison with the uh, uh, expected result and what is to be predicted. So that is done in the initial phase. Then you will scale up your phase, that is comparing the data, and you will scale up the phase. And there will be temporary process involved and permanent process involved in the process step, which has to be identified. And then you will go with like you will understand what are the temporary steps and whether the PAT has to be implemented to that, and how much should be the analysis that has to be done from the temporary process as well as from the permanent process. So these are the permanent process which are said to be the actual process monitoring and control. So permanent process are permanently fixed with a particular setup, whereas temporary process are only for a temporary time. So you understand which are the process steps which need a pad for a temporary time, and then you install that. Whereas in term permanent process, again, it is a permanently fixed pad is fixed with the monitoring and controlling. So in short, right, these are the phases or how you implement. It can be temporary process, it can be permanent, it can be done for the initial phase with the process optimization, or when you are scaling up. Before the scaling up itself, you can there are tools to determine that whether you are able to get the same yield in the upstream process whatever you have done in your scale uping process. So that is comparing data and predicting the models. So this is how they implement the pact. Okay, so why it is better than lab analysis is that you can control the process, you can speed up the particular process, and if there is a operative error, you can rectify it, and safety considerations can be taken into place, taken into considerations, and sample integrity also will be noted down. So this is why it is better than any lab analysis, because you have controllers in place. Okay, so when say suppose in simple words I can tell you, right, there is a weighing balance in a lab, right? Sometimes there may be error in the weight what you are supposed to take. Suppose you have to weigh 1 gram of weight, right? So you are just putting a spatula of a particular chemical on the weighing balance to weigh. It is sometimes 1.1, right? And you are just ignoring it. Okay, it is one I require, but it's okay if I weigh 1.1 and you are just removing it and going. So when you are removing, there will be a computer system attached with the weighing balance which will tell you that if a weight variation of zero point 0.1, what you are taking is done. So this is how it is going to affect your final product. So it will analyze and tell you that if you have just taken 0.1 gram extra, this is the problem with the weight with the product what you are supposed to get. So this is how you can tell the PAT analysis better than, and if that tool is not or that PAT is not associated with the weighing balance, you would have ignored that zero point 0.1 gram, and then you would have proceeded for the manufacturing. Finally, the product will be of a different consistency, right? So that errors can be avoided, right? Your process will be fast, right? Safety considerations can be taken. So this is how the patent framework, there are two steps in that. Okay, one is the process analyzing, and second step is what are the principles and tools you're going to apply. So first is process understanding is that, so in a pharmaceutical process, you know what are the steps that are going to be taken care. Maybe there is a granulation, there is mixing, powdering, then packaging. So these are the processes that are present in a pharma setup, right? So now when you know what are the processes there, you have to identify what are the critical processes there. So those critical processes will be attached with a PAT. Okay, PAT is process analytical technology, right? So you know what is a process, what are the critical process, because it will be, if you can install PAT for every step. Okay, but still if you install PAT for every step, it may increase your uh, cost of installation again, right? So that is why the PAT is recommended only for the critical process. So during a process, you are identifying what are the critical process, and you are just enumerating, right? How many numbers, right? How many process needs PAT, all that you are shortlisting, and you are placing some selected critical processes. So first you have to understand which process you are going to pick up to install the PAT. Okay, very simple. So you are just seeing which are the critical process, you're selecting shortlisting. Fine. So now second is like, okay, what are the tools you need? Okay, the principles and tools. So once you have identified the critical processes, and now you have to tell what are the tools you require. Okay, so tools are like, maybe it is analyzing tool like a software tool. See here, there is a tool called as data acquisition. There is a process analyzer, right? Process control tools, continuous improvement, and knowledge management. Okay. So once you have identified the critical process, now you want to see, like, or you want to study what are the tools you require for the process analysis. Okay, so mostly these tools will be associated with the computer system and the computer softwares. That is why it is a data design and data acquisition tools mainly with it. And now you will check like whether it has to be at line, online, or in line with the system. So at online is like, as you do the process online, it is going to tell you what is the variation you have observed, etc. Inline is before starting the process you can do. Outline is after the process. Okay, so this is how you will install that. So whether you want the online, that is when you're doing the process, you want a tool to predict and tell you what will be the outcome. Inline before starting the process, and outline after the process, right? So once you decide where you have to install, and you decide what is a tool you want, there are different design data analyzing tool, and you install that, what it is going to tell you, it is going to tell you some result, that is a predicted value, whether the process is in risk or it is a smooth going, and how much variation from the predicted and the existing value, all that your tool is going to tell you now. So once the tool gives you that insight, now you are going to control it, right? You have to go to control, because you don't want any error to happen in your final product, right? So now you have to keep those process in control. So you are trying again, you may have a tool there, you have a design process control tools which will tell you, okay, I am changing this parameter, what will be the impact, I am changing this parameter, what will be the impact. So these process tools will tell you like uh, how good it will be, like in helping the controlling, sorry, yeah, so this process control tools will tell you like how good they are, how can you control a particular process. So now you are changing the parameters and bringing into control. And remember, in our quality system, whatever steps you do take or whatever process you do has to be documented. So now this process tools, once you control the process, then only after controlling a particular process you proceed to the next step. Unless and until you control the process, it will be stuck to the process itself, right? So once it is being controlled, now you have to have a documentation process where it has been documented for continuous improvement, and if in case in the next batch if the same error happens, that document will be helpful for it, right? So this is how you select your tools for the analyzing instrument. Okay, so this diagram will brief on how you select, whether you want outline online, and how do you control. Once it is all the risk management control is all in place, you are going to record it. That's it. So that is all about the tools selection and modification, and these all slides are just the elaboration of what I discussed, right? So what are the tools you select for design, data acquisition, whether you want what type, as and when you do the experiment, the statistical principles will be applied, and then the randomization, what is the predicted value, what is the expected value, everything will be given by the tool. Okay, and process analyzing, okay, online with the system, in line with the system, and at line with the system. Okay, so what is the difference is that online is that whether the sample is diverted from the process analyzed and if appropriate returned, that is it is in uh, uh, online is something like, in simple words, I can tell you that once the process is being diverted, this will online system will tell you, or it will alarm you that you are diverting from the particular process. Inline is that, right, whether the sample is analyzed in the ongoing process. Okay, that is as and when the sample is analyzed, it is going to uh, make you sure that you are within the control. Outline is that whether the sample is isolated from the process and analyzed in the process environment. Right? So in brief, I told you like online is with respect to like a ongoing, inline is before the process, and outline is after the process. That's a very brief understanding, right? So you keep that in mind and you look at this diagram, right? So how the analyzing of a particular component will be done. Okay, so now here there are three options again, that is online. Online is ongoing with the system, inline before proceeding to the next step, outline is after that, right? So online is like your sample from the process is analyzed, okay, is analyzed, and if appropriate, okay, you are going ahead with the process. Okay, sample is analyzed. If it is right, you are going ahead with the process. Inline is that sample is analyzed, okay, before into the process. Right? So only this is like it will tell you that yes, your sample weighing is right, you can proceed. But here, unless and until you rectify your sample, it is not allowing you to proceed further. That is a difference of inline. Okay, so that is before the process proceed. Right, you cannot proceed with the process until and unless you rectify the things. Outline is that you take the sample, isolate it from the process, and analyze in a different environment, and you're checking whether it is with respect to the particular parameters or not. That is outline. So after the analyzing is done, you're isolating it and you're checking in a particular environment whatever you have done is right or wrong. Okay. So remember the term, online is with the process. Okay. Inline is okay, unless and until it is right, it is not going to allow you to go through the process. Outline is after the analyzing. You can take the sample, isolate it, the sample, and then analyze in the process environment. Okay, and the measurements are collected. Okay, if there is a deviation in measurement, there should be proper alarm to the people who was giving. So all your risk analysis techniques like FMEA, your process analyzing techniques, everything will be applied here, and it will show you where the risk is, how, and it may give you the steps of how to control. So once you identify the problem of the process, there will be some control tools which will give you the input of like how to control a particular process, etc. And you can also control after bringing into control alone, you can proceed to the next step of the process. Unless and until you control the process 1, you cannot proceed to the process 2. right? So here is a design optimization of the full framework. You identify what are the critical, you put what system you want, you put in place, and you identify what the control process you want. You will develop a mathematical relationship, like how a particular process is affecting a final product. So that will be analyzed, and you will be developing a relationship between the particular risk factor and the particular processes. So if you take a particular process, what are the risks associated? It will be difficult only for the first run. So once you run a sample for the first time, it will be a little difficult in identifying the process parameters and optimizing them. Once it is done, it is a continuous process. So they take time for the first process, and later it will go, and finally they develop a relationship like how a particular component will affect a particular risk and etc. Okay. Now, yes, everything analysis, process control, everything is to a statistical principle. All your probability, prediction, everything will be applied here, which will tell you the final measurements, and you have to control. After the control, also you will see statistically whether the process is in control. So once you know it is in control, you're going to proceed with the other process, and all that what you do will be used for your continuous improvement and knowledge management, right? You are recording whatever you have done here. That is, what are the tools you used, what are the risks you identified, and how did you bring those risks in control. So you identify that, you control the risk, and then and you record. It is very important that you record everything, whatever you do there, so that it will be used for the further study, right? So further the runs will be, so it is a continuous improvement. As I told you, only the first process will be difficult. Later, continuously you will be improving on the uh, setup. And this risk-based approach is one more approach where they do only with respect to the risk of producing a poor quality. Okay, so again, the analysis is done like how is your relationship with the poor quality product. So this is at the last stage. Once after you control it, finally you do analysis that how you. So as I told you, like once you follow all this PAT, it is a very minimum chance that your product is not a quality one. So it is 99.99% sure that you will pass all your regulation requirement and all the other regulatory bodies, right? So the risk-based approach is finally done. Mostly it will be in line with the approach, right? An integrated system is that with the customer and the industry needs. They do a system approach whether how much is the whether the customer is satisfied. So this is with respect to the customer, and this is with the in line with the process whatever you're doing. Okay, and then real time release whether you are able to do the final product and the data on time. That is your real time release, because every drug you manufacture will have a particular time in which you have to release the product, and there will be also, so doing all this pat analysis whether it is going to affect your final release time of your drug. Okay, so there will be again tools to predict it, and you have to control. So what is the benefit of analyzing the patterns? The first benefit is that your product is a highly quality one. Okay, lot of flexibility in process design. That is, once you identify that it is not up to the mark, you can modify the process. Okay, so that is a flexibility in process design. So yield will be more, so your loss of economy in the batch process will be reduced. Uh, End product testing is minimized because every step you are testing your product, right? And initial and ongoing process validation will be compared, and then your success in passing through your validation steps. So traditional procedure and procedure is that traditional process what they do, the process is in a black box. That is, you don't know. It is a just mechanical process what you're going, and final product you're just analyzing. Whereas in PAT, every critical step in a process is chosen, and PAT is analyzed so that at-line and online or inline analysis will be done, and a lot of statistical tools will be there telling you what is the variation of in the product, etc. And what you can do is it will give you a lot of opportunity to you to design your process again. In case there is something is out of control, you can redesign your process. So your process much understand and you can become a master of the process. Okay. So each step, right, reactor. So what type of analytical techniques they have, right? So initial is a raw material. See, there's a truck that is bringing the raw material. So first itself, it is being analyzed using Raman spectroscopy and then IR spectroscopy and chromatography, right? Analyzing of the initial product is done, and if you're using a reactor, these are the analytical techniques that is being combined for the process. So there will be spectroscopy, UV visible, Raman spectroscopy, chromatography techniques, etc., to analyze the impurities present, what are the kinetics involved, like whether the yield is okay, how much solvent, whether the pH is impacting the product, all that you can study here. And here, the yield, what are the impurities present, what is the solvent present concentration, you identify with this instrument. And during crystallization, which is a final product purification, right? What is the shape of the crystal form, supersaturation liquid that is present, etc. You can identify using these analytical techniques. Okay, so if you have to filter and dry, right, again after the crystallization, which is again if there are some solvents present again or some moisture content present, you can filter and dry again. So detection of the moisture, detection of the solvent will be done using these instruments. Okay, so Raman spectroscopy, mass spectroscopy, so looking at the mass, you can identify whether there are some uh, impurities present and determine the particle size. So FBRM is an analytical technique for to do that. And finished product, it's a capsule which is a finished product, and you will find whether the content and uniformity is there. So that also will be analyzed using. So every process, every critical step in a process is identified, and the inline pat is applied, right? And then these are analytical instruments associated with that, and then the data will be collected from these analytical techniques, and then it will be the input for your statistical analysis, and it will tell you how much deviation is your process. And if there's any problem with crystallization, it will tell, okay, so much of risk is there in crystallization, so that you bring down or bring in control some of the parameters and go ahead with the process. Okay, so these are the many unit operation steps that are being included in the pharma steps, that is dispensing, wet granulation, fluid bed drying, blending, and these are the techniques or instruments that are being installed along with that, so that you can find that if there is any errors in this process steps, it will definitely tell you, and the analysis will be done, and how it will impact your final product will be analyzed using this techniques. Okay, so what are the advantages of your PAT is that it will reduce the cycle time, uh, preventing reprocessing and rejection, right? Increase automation. So as automation is increased, as manual entry is restricted, the errors will be minimized to a very great extent. And improve operator safety. Safety considerations will be taken. Human error will be reduced. Improving energy and material use will be done, and continuous process. When the human intervention is reduction, you can run the process 24/7. So it's a continuous process, and controlling variability will be done, and continuously you can improve your process. And what is the disadvantages is like lot of efforts during the initial design, right? Because a lot of people are involved here, a lot of scientists will be involved, like which statistical tool to imply, which is most trusted, all that to set up for the first time, it requires a lot of efforts, right? Implementation and maintenance stages is high, right? Everything when you install a lot of automation setup, maintenance is very difficult, right? Sometimes it will become costly also with the existing setup, each automation setup, and the person who are working on it should be a specialized person, because if a wrong click in a computer system is done, it will just disturb the entire processing. So you require an expertise person to control those softwares and analyze the result, and whatever is predicted model, which is risk to identify. You need a person who has a lot of knowledge in all that statistical tools and also in the process parameters. Okay, so during the regulatory, so it is implemented under CGMP. So this PAT is highly recommended by CGMP, FDA, and whatever regulatory bodies you have, right? So USFDA, ICH, ASTM, everything uh, uh, recommends PAT to be there. And if the PAT is installed in a pharmaceutical industry, then it is very smooth going process during the regulatory. So every regulatory bodies recommends PAT for the system, and if it is installed in a pharmaceutical company, it is easy process to go through the regulations, right? So once you're certified with the PAT, etc., you can oh, sorry, because it's a repeating slide, right? Right. So the process will be smooth. Thank you. This is a reference article. I will. This is a very good information that is being what I have collected from. I'll send that PDF to you, and you can refer for further. Thank you. I think you would have understand what is the need for installing PAT in a pharma sector and what is the importance of that and how does it help in maintaining the quality of the final product so that it can pass through all the regulatory requirements. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time.